I'm afraid to be seen, but I want to be seen. That's probably like the mystique of using DC as a name all the way to like the level of being personable with my content as well. Even though my Instagram is my name, I still lean into like the business of it being the identity rather than myself. It's just a relationship of, I don't want to say insecurity because I do feel secure in what I do. I think it's my level of trust with the world. For some reason, I'm just associating this like when you open a birthday card from a relative and you're like, all the money falls and you just like reading the words. It's your 21st birthday. Introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? My name's DC, Devon Colebank or Devon Colebank. The reason for DC is it all started in like sports back in the day when an announcer would be like, Devon Colebank made this tackle, and then people would just jokingly say Devon, and then some people would actually believe that's my name. So throughout the years, it's just been easier to be DC. It's partially that and just like the mystique behind it too, and just easier to brand the person behind that. Sometimes it's like I think of that as being like third party to myself, that identity. You know, like front facing on social and not front facing on social. But creative director, honed in a lot of skills from starting as a photographer and worked my way into marketing, leaned more into niches of experiences, bespoke brand strategy, own an agency, own a couple plants that are probably dying, love coffee, was in the military, probably Pittsburgh's biggest matchbook collector. Yeah, I guess that would be like my Tinder profile or something like that. Talk to me about your creative journey. How did your background in photo video shape the way you think and the agency owner you are today? It all started just picking up a camera early on in high school, and I've always been like this jack of all trades, like really interested in arts, but also like sports, food, and like, you know, that coming of age moment where you don't want anything to define you and like stamp you or like, I don't know, emboss on you. So I felt like photography at the time was relatively new, and to do it was like corny. I remember being called gay a lot for like picking up a camera. Now it's like the coolest thing you can be right now is to be a photographer. It's just like that inverse relationship I had of like trying to prove that this field was something. So I would always connect myself to the city, even though I'm from a really like rural area, Masontown, PA. So coming back and forth from the city between getting caught climbing on rooftops and back alleys of Pittsburgh and just being like a downtown rat, I would meet like, everybody has their own mixtape or like does music. So people would hire me out for like photo shoots, like rappers, artists. So I started in the music lane, and the people were like, do you do music videos? I was like, yeah. Didn't know how to do a music video. So slowly did music videos, probably did my first music video for like $75 and like a pack of cigarettes. That then turned to like, oh, can you do the cover art for it? So the graphic design. So all three of these mediums kind of combined into one. And through that, it slowly became more than like just media production and like, how do we actually roll this out and promote it? Like, who's the audience? Who's the consumer? I left the music side of things a little after COVID, or a little before COVID actually. I was shooting with Wiz and went into this winery, and they said, can you do these services? I was like, yeah. And that was my first time doing like food and drink, which is like turned it over to today, where I have like 20 or so clients in the food and drink industry that are all like related to like hospitality and such. Yeah, I think that all started from just picking up a camera and just how can I compound these skills to be like an agency in myself, or like wear as many hats as possible, like turn different ways. From that winery, what led me down into like the event side of things was I was being hired out by larger brands like Maker's Mark, Truly, Jim Beam, to put on regional campaigns. And I was like, hey, we might as well cap it off with doing like in-person event. So that went into event design of like designing cocktails, backdrops, rollouts of just how do I get so many people into one confined space at one time. Over years of that, it just compounded into like actually calling it an agency, which is like kind of surreal now. Because back in the day, I would call it an agency. It's like, what does it actually feel like to feel established and like earn that title? Same thing with like creative director. How many projects do you need to have under your belt before you can like feel like you can wear that armor with pride? This is when I start to feel like winded and stuff.
Can
like,
I ask you a question, actually?
yeah,
Do you deal with any imposter syndrome calling yourself
yeah,
an agency?
yeah. Well, lately, no.
Okay.
Yeah, lately not as much, but before I think my entire entity of like I get worried of what people think of me. I have imposter syndrome with because I know I try to be very intentional of what they see and what they don't see. But with agency, not as much because I do think I take pride, and I have this relationship with being prideful and secure that people don't see everything I actually deal with day to day, like running a team of 6 to 7 people, the running 20 clients in a week, meetings. Like people don't see all that; they only see what's on the forefront. So that I know, like I don't have imposter syndrome with. I'm insecure that people don't see more of that. I'm like, fuck. There's so much more. My life's cool as fuck. I wish people could see it. And there's a certain pride I have with that, but I'm insecure that I don't show it enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well,
No.
why don't you want to show it? Or you just don't have this?
I just don't have the bandwidth.
Okay.
Yeah. Every time, I think God laughs at me sometimes because anytime I take the step in that direction to like start serialized content or sit in front of the camera, like hiring out people to help me with it, something goes left with it. So I'm like, what is going on here? Like, I think it's some type of alchemy. God's trying to tell me, like, stay grounded where you are, keep on churning and burning. Like you were talking about with your videos, just keep on this flow state of this creating. I do think there's like gonna be a end all be all of like looking back at the story of everything that came from where I am going to be in that time.
Right, like maybe you're still building right now, so it's not time to tell the backstory yet.
Yeah. I think there's gonna be some, is it magma opus? Or like some huge project, even though I think all of these projects are great, that the clientele is major, like what we're doing is defining in like the renaissance of food and drink in Pittsburgh. I think there's some relationship there. Anytime I try to put initiative in myself, he's like, calm down here. But I do always wish I put more into the brand. I think with getting married soon, the word I keep on thinking about is intentionality. So this being more intentional of like, I know I'm telling myself I need to put more effort into this, that, the other thing, but being more intentional on that thought and not just saying, oh, I'm going to, or it's going to happen. That goes in the next question. What have you learned along the way? Intentionality is everything. Your relationships with people and your intentions. Not just the end result of the intention, but the journey of, if we want to create something great together, it's not about the end goal of it being great. It's making sure we have intention of creating a great relationship so the thing is great. Not just people, but this like anything you're doing, do it 1,000% and like throw yourself through a wall. If your goal is to get on the other side of the wall, do 1,000 miles an hour, not just chip away at it. And that doesn't come with like the forcefulness or the being blunt. I think it's more the grace in doing it. I think somebody is much more graceful if you see they're committing 1,000% rather than like tiptoeing around the goal or the end result. You have an eye for high-end branding and you curate experiences differently than a lot of other Pittsburgh creatives. Where does your creative vision come from? That's a great question. I think when I envision DC and what I want people to feel when I'm creating something is that how well I understand the spectrum of life and audiences, from a high-end person to something very royal, raw, rigid. I was talking to Laura, my fiance, and it was like, it's funny how we go on trips and like we'll travel through back roads and go to a flea market where they're selling like $25 puppies, and then we'll go to like a Michelin star restaurant like the next day. I think understanding that spectrum is really important, and having a relationship to like look, feel, touch what is on that scale of that spectrum. So being able to like rummage through matches and get dirt under your fingernails, and understand how to properly conduct yourself in a Michelin restaurant. You wouldn't be doing both things, or like knowing that, oh, I could smoke a cigarette outside the flea market, but I probably shouldn't come into this restaurant smelling like smoke. And I know those illusions are very like me, but I think I have a great grasp on the scale of Americana and the trend of the world right now. My biggest inspiration that I grasp onto to understand that scale is rummaging through like pop art, Americana, going through antique stores and seeing, oh, when this lived and was present with somebody, what was the time period? Who was that person that was consuming that material? From the vintage mirror all the way to a plastic bookend, who would own this as well? That person got this on Temu, but that goes into like the capitalism of it all. And like, I think I have a really good grasp of consumerism and Americana just through like experiences. What is your long-term vision for your work and your life? I have this weird relationship with death where it's like, knowing that it's going to happen is one thing, but making it profound is another. And I just want at the end of life to not regret not putting myself all the way out there, because I think I live with a lot of genius that I don't show, that we were talking about before. I want to be known as a multifaceted person, but not taking pride in being multifaceted and just saying I was, but how those things were like a kaleidoscope and actually like meshed together. How the photo relationship worked into the graphic design and how compositions work with each other, or how storytelling and being able to have like a loose syntax with a rigid syntax work together. I think just my knowledge behind things, I just want on a long term for me to be able to tell my story and my knowledge in a clear, defined way. I would love for the brand of DC to have more of a page and following, rather than, I think I always put product first and like what I produce first rather than myself. Time will tell, I guess. I think once the agency and its portfolio is really established and it's concurrent, even though it's a healthy, really healthy business now, I want to trust that I can leave it and run myself in the same way. I want DC to be able to speak on these things that he's like written or produced and be able to educate through those things. Whether it be, the agency is one thing and the multiple products, but like the clothing brand, the artwork with the matches, being able to like talk breadth into our brand strategy and our brand vision with each of those in their own like different pillar. Looking back at answering that within the last 5 minutes, it's insecure because I feel like none of that related to personal life. That's a real thing in life, is like the only thing you can trust in this life is what you're gonna do. I don't trust my own shadow. I don't trust people. So investing, my work is the only thing I've been able to invest in fully and get 100% out of it, what I put into it. I'm learning that relationship through like marriage and stuff, especially like the principles I'm trying to instill in my marriage and like, but it's your closest people that you can like pour into, and they don't have like blind loyalty, whether it's them being naive or dealing with their own trauma. But I think that relationship is something that I've come to terms with, that it's not on me anymore. For as much as I invest into somebody, it's okay that it's not going to come all the way back. But I can't do any more in this life, because I've learned all my lessons, that giving 120% doesn't mean you're going to get your 100%. Whether it be like family trauma I have, or just
So it's hard
people
for you to
relation.
trust people.
Yeah. People are really easy to define. I bet I have a weird thing of, I call it like the knowing. I think I get it from my grandma. She is we come from like the rural West Virginia roots. I think her grandma's grandma was like into like chicken blood and hoodoo and all this Native American shit. And I think that stuff's fascinating. Yeah. And I think that's fascinating, but her and I have had this relationship that we could be silent in a room with somebody for like 5 minutes and we know their intentions, who they are, like not just based off body language, but there's something more than an aura that we can tell of people. And as much as I've tried to change people through knowing what that is, it still doesn't happen. So I'm not God. I'll never be God. But I know that my efforts can only take me so far with people, and I think I'm tired of giving the extra effort when it's not there. So I can only trust what I put into things, the results that come out of it. My mom and I even have that relationship now of like, hey, it's all for you. Like it's always been like just to try to make you proud of something I'm doing or have done. I feel like I've had major brands as clients, rather. I could have Nike as a client, and I feel like it still wouldn't be enough to her. And she could tell me she's proud up and down, but I think now that knowing I've had big name clients and it still doesn't move the needle in my heart, it's an indifferent relationship. So I think for a while, and still to this day, I think my success is my relationship with success is a coping mechanism for my identity and trauma. I feel like I can make $1 million and I'll still want to kill myself. Yeah. But I see that's a thing. I just don't know how to. You can't change that overnight.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's like part of that will drive you to success, right? Like almost like if I heal this, will I be as successful as I can be?
Yeah.
I can relate to that in some ways.
I think it goes hand in hand with our generation, and I don't think I compare too much to the internet of like rating of success, but I think that's probably a part of it. My relationship with success in my family. My brother and I always say we're evil twins. He's a doctor, and he's super. I'm super rigid in black and white. I think in black and white. He thinks in color. He works in black and white. I work in color. So it's always been this inverse relationship. And I guess with that, he's a doctor, and that level of success and him always having spotlight on him, I'm always trying to do the same in my field. And I can tell now nothing in this world I can achieve is gonna like cure that trauma. I'm trying to think of like a client I can get, and I still feel like the day after the campaign is done or the assets are like sent over, I probably like won't feel prideful of it. It could be like Nike or.
Do you think that you're just searching to receive love, or what?
Oh, for sure.
That's the core of it, is like wanting love.
Yeah. Have you had Hannah Phillips on this?
No, but I'm going to. She's going to be on in October.
She's amazing, and we've had deep talks just as like we've merged our friendships and like broken down vulnerable walls together. I think she pointed out a good part of me is like I'm afraid to be seen, but I want to be seen. Mm-hmm. That's probably like the mystique of like using DC as a name all the way to like the level of being personable with my content as well. A lot of it I like still lean into, even though my Instagram is my name, I still lean into like the business of it, being the identity rather than myself. It's just a relationship of, I don't want to say insecurity because I do feel secure in what I do. I think it's my level of trust with the world. I always tell people this, I'm very cynic and I'm very blunt about it. I don't think, even though I've had my depression episodes, I think they've all had a relationship with, if I were to ever kill myself right now, it would be because I know too much and I know those things are true in the world rather than me being depressed as like something to myself. Like not being depressed because like my hair, my body figure, like debt, not being insecure for those things. I think I would kill myself because I feel like I know too many things that are depressing in the state of the world right now. And just people. What is the deeper mission behind everything you create? Creation and the products and the theory I try to put behind everything is, I think, the art of communication. And that isn't saying something that's more clearly or changing tone. I think resonating to the person that it's on the opposite end. If I'm A and you're B, making sure what I'm doing in the vessel of shipping it out to you, make sure it's absorbed. It's absorbable. I think one of the best theories of communication is contrast, and I think the most successful people that have proven the art of communication is like Kanye West. He's being able to throw like rough, brutal lines over angelic, soulful things. But those things are too different, right? So the contrast of those, I think, communicate well to the audiences. Because this white dude from Chicago would be like, oh, I'm from Chicago, but I feel the soulful beats because I was raised in a church like this. Or the black guy that is taking the train in Chicago rather than this finance white guy is relating to like him talking about, what's he say on Gold Digger? He's like, that's like my karaoke song, by the way. Like a baby Louis Vuitton under her underarm. I can tell by her rock, I can tell by her charm. As far as girls, you got a flock. Anyways, it's just like this, the way he's pronouncing those things. Like he's not using like, this lady right here was using a baby Louis Vuitton under. It's just, I think the contrast that some artists use is really important to be absorbed by others. And I think the mission behind what I'm creating is just show that I'm using a scale that might not be, the scale itself might not be seen, but if you look at the bigger picture, it's like, oh, I see why I did that rather than that, when in terms of like contrast. If a more philosophical mission, I guess, would be showing that Pittsburgh is able to produce flowers out of concrete and we don't need like nurtured soil. We'll say that. What do you hope to contribute to Pittsburgh's creative scene through your work? I think I've been really great at connecting people, not even through like networking or things. It's just like, hey, I think you'd be really good friends with this person, or I think you'd work really well. But I think what I brought to the creative scene is being able for people to take pride in being part of the Renaissance in Pittsburgh. I think, without it being said, I think Pittsburgh's going through a creative renaissance where, of course, there's the digital landscape, but I think people are more accepting and engaging into what creatives are doing right now. I like to say I'm like one of the leading Renaissance people or creatives in the scene, but that might be me just being cocky. But
I think you will.
Thank you.
Yeah.
When so much of your life revolves around creating, how do you take the care of yourself outside of the work? Like specific things I do, like anecdotes?
If you want to give me specifics.
Yeah. Which is weird though, because I will give myself a grace in the morning to be like, if the alarm's like, I don't know, 8 o'clock, I'll be like, I'm self-employed, I could sleep it to 8:15 or something like that. I think my anecdotes are I have a deep relationship with music, and not just like artists, like a playlist. I hate playlists, but like diving into the mind of an album, listening to albums helps a lot. Being able to be present in like what I'm digging through in matches and knowing that it's like my hands working. A lot of my life right now is just like on a laptop or with a cursor, so the relationship isn't as in depth as like working with your hands. So I think working with my hands and cooking is a big one to separate me from like the actual creating I have to do for like clients and stuff. Making it more personable, experimenting in real time. When you're cooking something, it's like you're creating a baby in real time. It's like, oh, I have to be mindful not to have this much heat. Or,
do you take days off, or are you working most days?
I work a good majority of Saturdays, but there are times where I'm just like, okay, fuck off. Like to clients, I don't directly say that, but like, can I at least have like my Saturday from like 3 p.m. onward off? Or I don't mean all this to say that like, oh, I'm working 7 days a week. Of course there's time off, but I think it's just my relationship with my identity taking over that. I just love like the grace on a Saturday where I can like sleep until 9, maybe get a coffee at 10, being able to be like, do I want to go to a thrift store first, or do I want to go pick up film first from like the Bodega Film Lab? I think balance for me is being able to tell like my conscience to be like, okay, you did enough this week. It feels like enough, and being able to feel a sense of relief to do like other things that are actually like living life. If I wanted to do a walk, I could. Might not take a walk, but like, yeah. Are you intentional about who you surround yourself with and how you spend your time? Spend your time not as, I mean, yeah, but I do doom scroll a lot.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Surround myself with, yeah, I'm very mindful, and I think I can be very blunt at times. It's just telling people, not directly, but passively, hey, this is just work, and I don't want to be friends with you. I don't really get enjoyment out of people because they're really predictable, and their intentions, like people wear on their sleeves more than they know. Very intentional about, I think even who I hire in the agency, it's if I know they're going to be a good fit in our work relationship is a big thing, because whoever I work with, I love for the end of the year that we can like get a cabin together and just shoot the shit. Or I treat everybody like family that is actually working with the company. I think merging those lines together is really important in my sense to develop like blind loyalty. If you have blind loyalty for me, I can trust that I could have blind loyalty for you. Rather than I think other people in their circle define the roles too much. Like this is just work, this is play. But I think my right-hand man being Elijah for the agency, he's like my main shooter, being able that I can be like, hey man, you fucked up the shoot real quick. But like, an hour later, we're like eating the food that was shot and this like sharing napkins or sharing like a beer that was like on set or something. Being able to like stuff that wouldn't be too professional, but like being able to merge those lines healthily.
Do you have a large friend group, or are you pretty isolated?
Pretty isolated. I think it goes hand in hand. Like my wedding coming up is like 60 or so people. If it was up to me and it wasn't like a bunch of formal invites that you have to give the family, it'd probably be like 5 people around a bonfire. Yeah. There's Gisano. Gisano's my best man. Have you had him on here?
He's going to be on in October.
Yeah. Great people. There's Hav. Elijah is a right-hand man of the agency, and but he's a great friend of mine. I have a chef homie named Nati. There's a couple more, but like no more than, 10. I don't even think that list would hit 10. Kat and Hannah are good. Do you have Kat on?
Not yet.
Yeah. She's great people. I think she's the definition of grace. She's super graceful at all times. And I don't think she shows that she's mindful of it. I think she just is. She'd definitely be on that friend list. Yeah, super intentional. Just because people are blood-sucking at times. Or soul-sucking, not blood-sucking, but soul-sucking. Vampires in the metaphorical sense of blood. I think this goes hand in hand of like you only get what you put into people. And I think those are people I'm able to pour into, and I know they're going to pour back. Yeah. If your younger self was here with us right now, what would you say to him? These questions are amazing. Sorry if I've ranted a lot about it.
Oh my gosh, no.
A lot of it is me figuring out in real time what
That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want it to be an outward process so we can see that process. Do you feel like your breath is taken away during this?
A little bit. I know I can be good with words, and I think it's part of me always trying to be selective of what I'm saying. As much as I know it's your job to like break down those walls, there's still a part of me that always has to have control. I think the relationship with control in my life is really important nowadays. If your younger self was here with you right now, what would you say to him? I don't think my personality has ever changed, even from being a kid. I think I've always had this level of like that knowing or stoicism or being a nihilist even from a young age. I think I would tell him, keep trusting yourself, and anytime you're in a low point, know that the effort you're putting into it is going to result in something, but don't forget to immerse yourself into what that end result is. Like, don't forget to be grateful and live in the moment. Don't forget to be present. I don't think I'm present enough. If your future self was here, what would he tell you to stop holding back? He would stop telling me to give a fuck. I think I give too many fucks. Yeah, it's that relationship with control. I think what holds me back from my personal brand is just giving too many fucks on like delivery or it being uniform or it relating it to the ethos of what DC I think has always been. I know it's human nature to evolve, but I think we always have to evolve with intentions that relate to the principles we've built or the foundations we've built. Yeah, he would tell me stop giving so many fucks. Even when I think I don't give a fuck, because certain things I don't give a fuck about, I think all the fucks I give are things that aren't worth it because it's going to happen anyways. Like, it's out of my control. I can't be a god. And I could say this, like, honestly, it's like I get worried because I'm a white male in a creative scene. And I come from a background of being military. And I used to be that guy that, like, looked like a finance bro, like the comb over and stuff. I think knowing that and never want to be misseen, so very, very selective. And, like, so I'm not misseen or misunderstood.
What if you break that stereotype, though? You know?
I think there's other people that are currently breaking it, but I think it's a relationship with like the Pittsburgh scene and them already feeling like they have a tab or a pin on who this person is. I don't know. It's a good question. I think the stereotype word's a great word for it. I just never want to be misunderstood, not for like the stereotype that goes into one being male in the scene I'm in, being a male creative, being a white male creative, and being able to work with culture a lot, especially being able to think I have a say in the culture of Pittsburgh, because all culture nowadays relates back to like Black roots, African American roots. So I never want people to feel like I'm not good enough for the scene. So if I limit like all my interactions with myself, I think it's just being cautious, I guess. I don't know, I'm saying this all out loud in real time. I never want my intentions to be misunderstood.
I think the reality is that you can only do the best of your abilities, and like people are gonna perceive you in whatever way they want to. Like you can never really control how you're perceived.
Yeah. I guess it's just a relationship of control. Yeah. Thanks for this.
You're welcome.
I know in myself though, I know it's a healthy relationship of being mindful, because I know a lot of motherfuckers aren't mindful that they are a white male in the scene and they're just like doing things outlandish or crazy they shouldn't have. I think it's a healthy relationship of being mindful, but I think I give like 1 or 2 less fucks. Like I'm probably like 6 on the stove. I could probably dial down to like a 4 or so. Yeah. What is the biggest lesson life is teaching you right now? I think the times that I didn't give a fuck and I trusted how I wanted to conduct things in my relationships with people, it's okay to like have those boundaries. I used to be the person, if I didn't want to answer a call, I'd still answer it just because giving that person grace and just always feeling like I'm a glue or a sense, like I don't know how to explain this. Like my dad calls me a lot and I always think I should be picking up even though I don't feel like I want to pick up. And being able to like deal with a burden in our relationship that he might not know is there, like I know is there. And being able to the biggest lesson life is teaching me right now is just trust in the gut more. My instincts have led me so far creatively, and those creative instincts obviously go hand in hand with like life instincts and decision making. And I think what my ethos is, I can just trust more and live by it more. What are you learning to love about yourself? I'm really starting to honor my relationship with like how I think, whether it be like the autism I have of like, I think very black and white, but I live in color. I love that about myself, but I don't know how to really communicate that. But I think I show it in ways of like being able to fit in with wearing black shirts, but being able to create something crazy that doesn't look like this would come from a motherfucker like me. I love that I could be like a walking contradiction. I don't think what I produce is a contradiction, but I think it's allowable for me because I have lived in such a large spectrum. How has it felt to be seen in this way today? It's scary. All these things that like I feel like I'm super mindful and I don't think I've answered anything wrong, but I think I wish I could have 2 to 3 more hours just talking about the ethos behind me answering some things, like the definition of like what it means to like think in black and white but live in color, my relationship with control. I think it's like solidified that I think we were talking about like the wedding. It's like if I controlled it too much, I wouldn't enjoy it anymore. And I know that, but I think being able to live with knowing that is another thing. Like being able to take my own advice. Taking your own advice isn't just putting it in your pocket. It's like you're living in that advice as well. It felt indifferent. It feels okay just because I know life is something I can't control. It's not something I don't want to say I'm upset about, because like what would I even be upset about? Like being seen. I know it's gonna come anyways.
Have you shared yourself on the internet in this way before?
I remember being like younger, early 20s, and I was like, I'm gonna be really selective on like what I do and put myself out there with like third-party things. Mm-hmm. So I have that level of control of how I'm seen. I've done a lot more recently, like with Mark. I did one with Ethan and his podcast.
Oh, the above average?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ethan's was one where I felt like I was like winded the whole time, because it was like not on my first times doing it. I don't think it was like a repetition thing or being natural with it. It's from then to now that my relationship with my voice. That's another thing with my content I notice is like I'm not too familiar with my voice because I'm so used to developing a voice for other people and how it's communicating. As I'm doing content, I'm noticing I don't have my voice down. Like I'm so used to being soft-spoken and moving through actions, but now it's time to like speak more and getting used to like the words coming out. Through doing content, sometimes I'm like I always call it like the Jake Paul. It's like, hey, it's DC here. Coming at you live today. Like that doesn't feel like me. If it was me, I think I'd be like, hey, it's DC. We're doing this today. Like super calm. And I think being able to fall into that and trusting that, I think I'm too mindful at times. like that's probably too many fucks, is I know my true voice wouldn't probably pop off and be engaged with enough as like somebody that's bright and bubbly like this. I'm not this, I don't think I'm this bright and bubbly person, but I do think I know the ways and tactics to get that across and to be engaged with. But my voice itself isn't that. So it's like a weird inverse relationship with this, being mindful of what I'm doing in the moment and how it's being perceived. Biggest takeaway. I think with this being on the internet, there's nothing else I can't talk about in my life and myself. I think it's just stop giving a fuck. Yeah. You agree? What do you think?
And release some control, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Any final thoughts? Super grateful for you being able to have a platform like this so I could like peel a layer off myself, because I definitely did that today. Even my partner has told me at times, she's like, I feel like I know you, but I don't know even like half of you. So it's like hard to this. I feel like I can be a chameleon too much and like knowing that scale. So it's nice to be presently me right now at like 2:10 on a Thursday, August 6th. Yeah, I think what you're doing here is crazy because it's very, in real time, you're being confronted with your real self, and it's like a mirror. And you being a mirror right now, like you are, is like crazy. I don't know how you did that. It's like I'm looking at myself.
That's my goal.
Yeah. Thank you for today.
Of course.